commandment number 7, and found in Exodus with all the other commandments, Exodus chapter 20 and verse 14, and it simply says, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." And what is adultery? It's as simple as sexual relations with someone other than your spouse. Now, another similar word used in the Bible is fornication, and that's simply the exact same thing. Unmarried people practice having sex. In the book of Genesis, in creation week, God instituted marriage there when he created Adam and Eve. And there are many places where it talks about the bond of one man and one woman. Now, I don't mean to upset anyone, but this marriage relationship is only between one man and one woman. Not a man and a man, not a woman and a woman. That's another study on its own, and the Bible speaks against that. If you really want to find, you'll find that towards the end of Romans chapter 1. But today, looking at not committing adultery. Now, again, when you hear the "thou shalt not," it sounds restrictive. But wouldn't you be happy if you knew that your spouse wasn't playing up on you, and the peace of mind your spouse would have knowing that you're not playing up on your spouse? When you think of it, it just comes to being honest with your spouse, and being faithful to your spouse. The marriage vows, to be faithful to your spouse until death. That's really what it's saying, to be faithful to your spouse, because God has joined you together. And the person who conducted your wedding ceremony will more than likely say, "What God has put together, let no man put asunder." And so, basically, it's telling you to be faithful to your spouse. And if you really love your spouse, that shouldn't be a problem. And more importantly, if you have love for God, like Jesus says, "If you love me, keep my commandments." If you truly love Jesus, being faithful to your spouse will not be a problem at all. And you will have a happy, trusting relationship with your spouse. But always put God first, put him in the center of your relationship. And in doing this, you will never look back. Oh, and don't go yet. I forgot to mention something in my previous post. I've joined this one on. Also, about being loyal to your spouse. Now, I'm going to talk to you men about this one. The Bible does mention that if you look on another woman and lust after her, you have already committed adultery. So, men, you need to keep your eyes off other ladies and keep them on your spouse. Now, I know that sometimes during daily life, someone might catch your eye, someone you might find very attractive. You can't always help the first look, but you don't have to keep on looking afterwards. So, you could be walking down the street or driving, and you say, "Oh, there's a pretty lady," leave it at that. But if your first look is, "Wow," and you start thinking about it, maybe the first look can be wrong as well. So, men, keep your eyes on your own spouse, Be happy with her. You chose her, she chose you. And ladies,
Copy, Yogi.
I'll turn that off. And ladies and men too, actually, need to dress appropriately, so they're not going to make the opposite sex think they're have lustful thoughts about you. The Bible does talk about dressing modestly. That's another study on its own, and we're not going to go into that. But yeah, I just wanted to add this extra part what I just did in not looking at other people. Men, don't look at other ladies and lust after them. Women, don't look at other men and lust after them, because that is also committing adultery, breaking this commandment number 7. So something to think about. And again, if you love Jesus and you keep his commandments, he will help you keep them. If you've got a problem with it, pray to God. He will give you strength to keep your eyes where they should be. And you love Jesus, obey him, keep his commandments, and love your spouse. You'll be very glad you did.